The ice in your glass has stopped melting. That's how long you've been sitting here, hands folded in your lap, not drinking. Cigarette smoke hangs flat against the ceiling, thick enough that the lanterns look like they're underwater. Somewhere behind you, a hostess laughs too loudly at something that wasn't funny. You don't turn around. Across the table, Hayashi-san sets down his glass without a sound. That's the part that scares you. Not the noise men like him make, but the silence they choose instead. You understand, he says quietly, that no one tells me no twice. You can hear your own pulse in your ears. The room is warm, but your hands have gone cold. You smile, the way you've trained yourself to smile for 11 months. I understand, you say. You do not mean yes. He knows that too. You didn't choose this room. You chose a paycheck. 6 nights a week. You work the floor of a hostess club tucked into a side street of an entertainment district. The kind of place with no sign out front, just a black door and a man built like a refrigerator standing beside it. You pour drinks. You laugh at jokes that aren't clever. You let men talk about their wives while you nod like you care. It's a job, like any other, except the customers on the street you walk home on. The club isn't owned by the company that pays you. It's owned by men who own the company, and several others like it, laundromats, vending machine routes. A construction firm that wins contracts it has no business winning. Nobody calls them what they are out loud. You learn the unspoken vocabulary the way everyone does. Which men you bow lower for, which tables get the good whiskey for free, which questions you simply don't ask. Hayashi-san is not the boss of the boss. He is something more dangerous, the boss's right hand. The one who handles the things the boss can't be seen handling. He has been coming to your table for 4 months. At first it was flattering. In the small, hollow way, attention from a powerful man is always flattering when you have no power of your own. Then it stopped being flattering. Your days have a shape now, and the shape is built around avoiding him. You arrive early so the mama-san assigns your seating before he does. You volunteer for the tables near the door, the ones that turn over fast, the ones where you can claim you're needed elsewhere. You learn to read his entrance through the sound of the front door, the particular weight of his footsteps. So you have 4 seconds to arrange your face before he sees it. The other hostesses notice. Nobody says anything directly, because saying things directly is how you lose your job, or worse. But Yuki, who's worked the floor 3 years longer than you, finds a way to warn you without using a single risky word. Smile less, she tells you one night, refilling lipstick in the mirror beside you. When you smile, it looks like permission. You start smiling less. It doesn't help much. The exhaustion isn't only physical, though your feet ache by midnight and your jaw aches from holding a pleasant expression for 6 hours straight. The real exhaustion is the calculation running underneath everything, every sentence weighed before you say it, every laugh measured for how much warmth it implies. You are good at your job because you are good at being whatever the table needs. That skill, the one that pays your rent, is the same skill that's now being used to corner you. You think about quitting. You do the math on quitting and it doesn't work. Not with your mother's hospital bills. Not with the apartment deposit you'll lose if you break the lease early. Not with how visible quitting suddenly would look, like running from something, which is exactly what it would be. So you stay, and you get smaller in rooms you used to fill comfortably, and you tell yourself this is temporary, the way you've told yourself other things were temporary. The night it changes, the club is nearly empty. A slow Tuesday, rain outside turning the street lanterns into smears of red and gold through the window glass. Hayashi-san asks the mama-san to close your section early. She does, without looking at you, because she works for the same company you do and her math is the same as yours. He doesn't raise his voice. That's what you remember most clearly afterward, how reasonable he sounds. Like a man explaining a business arrangement, because to him, that's exactly what this is. I've been patient, he says. Patience has a cost, too. You should think about what you actually want from this life. I can give you a different one. Or you can keep this one, the hard way, for as long as it lasts. The threat isn't in the words. It's in the fact that he doesn't need to finish the sentence for you to understand every version of how this could go. You think about Yuki's advice. You think about your mother's bills. You think about the 4 seconds of footstep counting you've spent 4 months perfecting, and how none of it was ever going to be enough, because the problem was never your behavior. The problem was that he decided, and your behavior was just something he was waiting out. You set your glass down, the same controlled, soundless motion he uses, though you don't realize you've copied it until later. No, you say, just that. No performance behind it this time. No smile to soften it. It is the first time in 11 months you have said something to him and meant exactly what the word means. His face doesn't change. That's worse than if it had. All right, he says, and stands, and leaves a tip on the table that is far too large. The way men like him leave reminders instead of money. You don't know yet what the no will cost. You only know that for the first time, the fear in your chest feels like it belongs to you, and not to the performance of being agreeable. It is the only thing in this room that has ever been entirely yours. You walk home that night without an umbrella because you forgot it, and because some part of you wants the rain. The street is empty. The lanterns are still smeared red and gold in the wet pavement, the same as always, indifferent to what just happened under their light. You don't know, walking home, whether you'll still have a job tomorrow. You don't know whether all right was an ending or a beginning of something slower and worse. You only know that you said one true word in a year of careful ones, and that it felt like setting something down you didn't know you'd been carrying. You reach your apartment, climb the stairs, and stand at your door for a long moment before going in, listening, the way you've taught yourself to listen for footsteps that aren't there. The hallway is silent. You let yourself wonder, just for a moment, what it would feel like to stop listening altogether. You don't know yet if you'll ever get to find out.